But I think some of the biggest issues that I've seen over the course of just doing therapy is probably job loss, right?
Mm,
It's job loss, and it's not being able to, they didn't save maybe properly, um, or they just were not expecting it at all. And then they can't find either, you know, I always I would work with people, and they would have like a full-time job and a part-time job. And so I would say, "Listen, you have to save that part-time job money, or now your income, you're gonna have to always find a job that requires both of those." And so, and so I think, so if they're not planning on losing their job and then they lose their job and they haven't saved it properly, that becomes very stressful. It becomes very depressing. And then it's like, then it becomes a cycle. It's like, oh, how do I get out of this? How do I get out of this? So I think that's a huge one. And then also just in marriage. So if you're married, that's individual. But if you're married and you have a family, and there's it's a dual income family, and it requires that, like all the bills are based on that, and there's a job loss, sometimes it's hard to recover in all areas. It
mm.
could affect the marriage, it's gonna affect the self-esteem of the person. There's a lot that's attached to it.
Absolutely. So once a couple is in there and they recognize that, what are some of the practical steps that they can take to start easing that financial
Yeah.
tension and strengthen that relationship? So now that we have a couple,
Yeah.
we have somebody that either experienced the job loss, they're sitting there, 3, 5 years out from retirement, they realize they haven't saved enough. Um, they are communicating, they are doing their weekly check-in, they have created some humility amongst each other, but now they're in this tension. What are some of the first steps on a relational and a mental health side that
Mhm.
they could utilize to start making some steps forward?
Yeah, I think it would be to sit down and actually make a plan. Like,
Hmm.
what are the goals? What are we trying to accomplish in the next 4 or 5 years? If we're trying to retire, what are we trying to do? And then how, kind of like that reverse engineer, right? How do we get there? Who do we need to contact to make sure, if we're both employed, like if the couple's both employed, have they maxed out all of their, contributions, and do they have a financial person? Because I also think that, full transparency, I just don't think a lot of people understand the value of a financial expert, and so getting that, eh, asking your friends. I'm always about word of mouth. Hey, who do you have? Who do you like? And bringing in an expert to say, okay, here's our goals in the next 4 to 5 years. How can you help us get there? What do we need to do? That's really what I would suggest.